Hello, dear ones. Something that may excite my followers. I just made a report in England, Essex County Police, for criminal investigation of my trafficking in music industry.
Good morning. Thank you for calling Essex Police. You can quickly and easily report non-emergency matters, including crime, online or Monday to Friday between 8 a.m. and 10 p.m. Use our live chat facility via our website at www.essex.police.uk. By reporting online, you can help.
So, dear ones, a lot is happening in my life. Lately, I had a car crash, actually soon after my exposure of chattel trafficking by certain societies. Some very young Jewish men bumped into my car, so there was a lot happening. Then the homeless cat I was feeding was run over by a car. Then I had to report a tenant who is doing some silly things in here. My parcels were disappearing. My 2 parcels were stolen. And I have a tenant here who is extremely disrespectful. And I had to report the theft at the police, Essex Police. When I was reporting the theft, as you see, a lot is going on. I mentioned that I don't want to deal with wicked people, especially after what I experienced being trafficked in music industry. And soon after that, a few days later, I got a call from an official, a call from a private number, so I couldn't read the number. The person was introduced to me as a law enforcement officer, and he said to me that he follows my report to the police, and he rather won't be talking about the theft at this point, but he is very curious and would like to hear some more about my experiences of being trafficked in the music industry. So, I said, there is a long story that I could tell you because it happened in many countries. The attempts to break me down to prostitution, leaving me homeless in America by the record label who owed me approximately $30,000, leaving me homeless, fighting for my life. And I started to tell him a bit the story of my experience being trafficked in the music industry around the world, traveling 30 countries, living 7 years in America. He asked me, so would you like to report it as a separate criminal investigation case? And he said, when I started to tell my story, he said, oh, that's a lot. He sounded a bit thrilled. When I was telling him what I survived, he sounded a bit shocked. He said, that's a lot. He asked me, would I like to report it as a separate criminal investigation case? I said, I don't know. I was not sure because I survived so much. I'm happy to have a roof above my head after all, and peace, some little peace. So he said that he will contact me with the victim support services. That's what he did. But after this conversation, I started to think, why didn't I report it as a separate criminal investigation case? And I was thinking of that after all that I experienced in music industry, I lost my faith in the law enforcement, in the police. I started to think of them like a corrupted mafia. But to think that all of them are corrupted could be a bit silly, because I believe there are some people who aim for the truth and justice. And I believe that I wanted the peace and safety and security for a while. But I started to recall how my mommy suffered, how she cried over me, and how these people are left paying no consequences. And I was thinking to myself, I am ready to report it. I'm going to report it. For my rest in peace mother, and for justice and truth. And maybe I will go through a lot. Maybe I will go through a hell. Will they try to make me look silly or like abnormal, like they tried in the US, to deny my story, to deny what I survived? Will they try to ignore my testimony? Will they move it further? Will there be a people, honorable people, who aim for the truth and justice? Will they try to devastate me? Will they try to kill me? Will they try to put down my pages as they did repeatedly? I said, well, maybe my report will help to some honorable and dignified people in the police to trace some cases of human trafficking, and maybe this will be maybe in some way helpful for them to find some traces and how it works in the music industry. So I decided to make the report. I was contacted by the Salvation Army helpline support for trafficked people via email, so I called them back and I talked to them a bit about my story. They also noticed that a lot what I survived, and they said, did I report it as a separate criminal record? I said no, but I think of it. So they told me, you can call 101 and make a separate report for the criminal investigation. I did this today. And that was strange, because at the beginning the telephone was picked up by the officer number 80592, who was very kind and who said that she will contact me with a special conversation room where another officer will talk to me about it. Okay, she connected me, redirected the conversation to a conversation room, and there was another officer. She was so busy, so very much rushing, though it was non-emergency report, that I couldn't. She put off the phone before I asked her about her number and about her about the number of the case. I started to tell her what I want to report, and she said to me, "Oh, this case already exists." Well, I was surprised, because I know that there is a case where I reported the theft. But I know that I did not report the human trafficking and modern-day slavery in music industry as a separate case. So I was very surprised. I was telling her what I want to report, and she was breaking into my words repeatedly, like the case already exists. What I said to her that I want to report is, I said, I have it in points. First, I want to report organized crime of trafficking in the music industry and related fields. Second, crime of the control of freedom of speech. Third, modern-day slavery. Fourth, trauma-based mind control. Fifth, traumatizing of my beloved rest in peace mother. The time when she was fighting for life, trying to battle cancer. 6. I want to report attempts via trauma-based mind control to force me to falsify my testimony in the courts in US after I was physically attacked, and there was organized crime to try to make me look silly and force me to falsify my testimony in the court after the physical attack on my person that happened after my recording contract in the house of my family relatives in US who were corresponding with the Nautilus Records record label. 7th, I wanted to report the attempts to make me look like crazy, to later on ignore my story, my testimony of what happened to me, attempt to degrade my reputation through making me looking like silly or just falsifying my testimony or not listening to my testimony in the court. 8th, I want to report devastating my music career or whatever work in music industry and my life conditions because it was impossible for the record label to control my freedom of speech. Next point, owing me $30,000 and leaving me homeless in America, homeless and fighting for my life and my pet down the street. 9th point, falsifying my pages and public presentation with a fake announcement that they were signing with my name repeatedly, fake announcements that they were signing with my name without my agreement. 10th, crime of modern day slavery, sex assault, causing my starving and fighting for life in Cyprus. 11th, crime of trafficking and modern day slavery in Egypt, and putting me in danger and terminating my contract because I didn't want to participate in the orgies and sex groups in Egypt related to Sharm el-Sheikh, Crown Plaza and Savoy Hotel. 12. Crime of trafficking and modern day slavery that happened in Germany and Switzerland, where I was not paid my full salaries, where I was assaulted in the messenger band. 13. Sex assault and sex assault on Princess Lines by the deputy manager. Harassment. 14th, assault and immoral acts of the music director of the orchestra on Royal Caribbeans. 15th, traumatizing my beloved rest in peace mother on the days she was fighting cancer, bringing her to tears and heartache. 16th, devastating my career because I didn't follow with the sex offers and I didn't allow them to control my freedom of speech. 17th, crimes of grooming during the music contract by the different organized societies, sending me nude pictures, psychologists who were persuading why I should accept nudity in public. 18th, crimes of the attempt to degrade my reputation during the recording contract. 19th, electronic harassment, silent rape, DARPA crimes. And here, if the officer does not realize what I'm talking about, I said to the officer I can refer to a scientific and Navy defense sources, special forces sources, and targeted individuals' media sources, so they can realize what I am talking about when I say electronic harassment, silent rape, sleep deprivation, and DARPA mind control. 20th point, multiplied trauma after my relation with U.S. military intelligence officer. Multiplied trauma, never getting to know is he alive or is he controlled by the secret societies, the perverted cults of Freemasonry and others. 21st, harassment in the music theater in Poland, one of the biggest music theaters, in the house for the actors and actresses, by Leopold Kozłowski, famous choreographer, famous specialist on choreography in the theater. 22nd, crimes of the corruption and ongoing attempts to hide the truth about child and human trafficking, psychological operations, ongoing attempts to hide and block my records related to Epstein-Weinstein case that were telling much more than the mainstream media sewage. My records with a tribunal's representatives, International Tribunal into the Church and State Crimes, International Tribunal for Natural Justice. 23rd, crimes of YouTube, Facebook and Google, putting the numbers of views down, what we have in evidence, how the numbers of views were put down. Crimes of blocking my group on Facebook, Children Be Safe, Pound Foster War, and of my numerous accounts, and my Facebook account with approximately 30,000 people, my previous YouTube account with approximately 30,000 people. 24th, repeated attempts to break me down to prostitution in the music industry through blocking my salary, causing my starving, threats to my safety and security and to my work position. 25th, devastating my health and life conditions. The operations of trafficking that devastates the health and life conditions, psyops, corruptions, perversion in the music industry. 26, the assault and intimidation of the sheriffs in Waukesha, Wisconsin, and their attempts to ignore my testimony, reputation, lies that they were sharing with the property owner when I was working like a slave to recover after my recording contracts, and attempts to make me look silly, not to listen to my testimony in the court after physical attack on my person in attempt to steal my phone and my computers. So there is a lot to it. When I was talking to officer in Essex Police, the second officer who didn't give me her number, she broke into my words and she didn't listen to all of these points. She said that it's already reported, although I never reported it in a separate criminal investigation case. She put off the phone before I asked her about the criminal case number. She put off the phone before I asked her about her number as a police officer. So I made another call to Essex Police, and then the officer number 82471 answered my request kindly, and after my repeated questions for her to give me the case number of my specific report for human trafficking and modern-day slavery, she finally gave me the number of my case, that is 42/144/516/23. The case number in my report is 42/144/516/23. The report is made, and I don't know how much of my report was written down by the Essex police, but I will watch it as the days go by, and eventually I will report it to higher instances if I won't get a proper feedback. I was informed that I will be contacted by somebody who will talk to me face to face, so I look forward to it. I look forward to them checking my evidence, my external files. I can't wait to talk to them, because I made myself ready to put out this report. Almost 6 years, soon will be 6 years. I work for the same company, presently last year, as emergency response specialist carer. My position requires a very strong psychological and physical endurance, dealing with vulnerable people, both mentally and physically very vulnerable people and end-life people. As an emergency response specialist carer, I drive the car a lot. I can mention how much when I tell you that within 4 days every week I burn approximately 1.5 canister of LPG in my car. So you can guess how much I drive and at the same time meet very vulnerable mentally and physically and end-of-life care people. So I have to be very strong in my profession, mentally and physically. And I made myself ready to make this report to the Essex police. I will watch what they will do. I will keep you updated what they did with this case, how they reacted, and I'll watch will I have to forward it to other instances. I have some friends who are related to Metropolitan Police, so I may try to forward it to other instances. I do it for my rest in peace mother, who was crying like a baby when she got to realize that her child is homeless in America and fighting for life after amazing recording contracts. I do it for all the mothers who could cry over their children traveling in the world with hope for ethical treatment in the music industry and whichever related industry. I do it for the reason, not that much for money, as for because I work for my money very hard, and I make it for the reason for the people in power positions who give employment to music industry people in the world and entertainment people in the world and other professions doing the contracts. I make it to expose these people and to bring them to the justice so they don't rule the lives of a young, hopeful people who travel alone and lonely in the world with the hope for being treated ethically in their work positions. And I will keep you updated. I made a report to Essex Police into criminal investigation of human trafficking and modern-day slavery in music industry. I'll keep you updated what will be done with this case further. Thank you very much, and I keep recording music soon. This case is happening lately, it took a lot of my time, but I have my next music projects in progress, and I very much hope to publish soon my next music publications. Yvonne Shamsan.
To the